What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of my next-gen console countdown. A few episodes ago, we did a what returning franchises and launch lineups would we like to see for the PlayStation 5. And I said in that episode that eventually I would do one for Xbox Series X. And that's what this episode is. So there is a lot of good Xbox franchises out there. Not as many as Sony has been putting out. Sony has been really dominating the first-party platform as far as first-party games. Of course, you know, Nintendo being the real big one. But as far as the PlayStation 5 versus the Xbox Series X, there was a ton of games that I mentioned in that episode for the PlayStation 5. They got some great potential of games that they could bring back and games that they normally bring back. Then I was thinking about the Xbox Series X. Now, we know that Halo is coming out as a launch title, Halo Infinite. And I've been just getting back into Halo 5, and I'm absolutely having a blast with Halo. We know that Gears has been, coming out. It hasn't been a franchise that's been absent. So, of course, we don't have to mention those two. But what other franchises, maybe that haven't been around in a while, or that we would love to see the next-gen version of? So we're going to talk about them in this episode. Let's get right into it. I'm going to switch to my web browser here. And the first one is Forza, whether it be a Horizon or a Motorsport. Now, I know they go back and forth. So we recently had a Horizon, so I'm guessing it's going to be Forza Motorsport 8. Now, one thing about a next-gen console that they love showing off is a racing game. So what better launch title, or at least launch window, for the Xbox Series X would be Forza Motorsport 8. It would be an absolute showcase to show off the power of the system. What better game? Because Forza is a huge, beefy game. And I think that this would be an excellent game. And there hasn't, people have been itching for a motorsport game. The Horizon games are awesome. The next Horizon game, Horizon 5 for the Series X, is going to be, I'm sure, mind-blowing. But, Forza Motorsport puts in all the cars, all the tracks. It's more of a simulator than an arcade game. Horizon is more of like the Need for Speed, whereas the Motorsport series is more of the Gran Turismo side, which would be like, a game that I would love to see on the PS5. So Forza Motorsport 8, a no-brainer for the Xbox Series X. Here's one. How about Fable? Now, this is a beloved franchise, and the last we heard was Fable Legends, which got canceled. And that wasn't even going to be a proper Fable game. That was going to be like an online thing. So, where the heck is Fable? What better opportunity to bring Fable back from the dead on the Xbox Series X? I think it would be a fantastic game. Another fantastic game to showcase the new hardware and the new system. Even though Phil Spencer from Microsoft said that there will be, at least I think for a year, no console exclusives as far as just on the Series X. There will be an option to play it on your PC and Xbox One, but most likely the best place to play it as far as hardware is on the Series X. So again, Fable. I definitely would love to see a return to that game. Fable 3 is one of my top favorite games of all time. Here's one. We talked about Forza, but do you guys remember this? Now, I'm going back in the heyday. I'm going back to the original Xbox. Remember Project Gotham Racing? I do. And this was actually one of my all-time favorite racing games. I remember when I first got my original Xbox and I brought this sucker home. And I just remember playing it for hours and hours and hours. And then the Project Gotham Racing 2, then they introduced motorcycles, Project Gotham Racing 3. Fantastic series. I would love to see this come out. The only thing is that it seems to me, as far as the Xbox side of things, and actually in general, Forza is just dominating the racing genre. I mean, we still have Need for Speed. You know, we had Gran Turismo Sport, which I think is a phenomenal game. But especially in VR. Remember Drive Club? That didn't really do very well. I thought it was an awesome game. But, you know, Forza seems to be the monopoly here. They seem to be really pushing the series as far as racing. But Project Gotham Racing, I would love to see the return. I think this had a huge fan base, and it was one of my favorite games. You could collect the cars, you could have your own garage. It had a lot of things that I enjoyed better than Forza, believe it or not, and I could just imagine with the new technology how the graphics could look on this game. So yeah, Project Gotham Racing. I know you old schoolers out there that have been with Xbox for a long time are going to definitely remember that franchise, because I do. Here's another one. How about Perfect Dark? Wow. Perfect Dark. That's an absolute gem of a franchise. How would you like to have a new Perfect Dark game on the Xbox Series X? Rare is an amazing developer, and I would love to see them do something with Perfect Dark from Microsoft Studios. I don't see why they wouldn't. I know a lot of people have been talking about this franchise for a long time. I remember covering E3 for the past few years, and there's like people waiting for the announcement, like patiently waiting. So, you know, sometimes you got to cater to the fans and give them what they want. Even a mention of Perfect Dark. But we'll see. Again, new system, new console coming out. Great opportunity. And I couldn't leave this out. Killer Instinct. To me, Killer Instinct on the Xbox One was fantastic. It was an excellent fighting game. Beautiful graphics. I love how they rolled it out during the life cycle of the Xbox One. I like how, you know, it was free, and then you could purchase different options. You could buy the characters individually, buy them in packs. The game rolled out slowly, kind of like Street Fighter V, and then by the end, it really was a full-fledged, huge fighting game, and it was very, very well made. So maybe do the same thing again, or just come out with a full game from the beginning this time. Either way, I think a reboot would be great. Another continuation of Killer Instinct on the Xbox Series X, or at least some kind of updated version of it that's enhanced for the Series X, or that has something exclusive from the Series X. And maybe, since everything is transferable, people that own Killer Instinct on the Xbox One, something, something to give them a boost to upgrade to the Xbox One or the Xbox Series X, like a free upgrade or something, or a discount, or just a whole new game from scratch would be fine. So that's my picks. I did one for PlayStation 5, so it was only fair that I did one for the Series X, and that's what I've come up with. I think between the two console systems, I think that's a pretty good mix, depending on what side you go with, and or if you do go with both. I know that these are beloved franchises on both sides, and that people would love these games to come out. Again, I'm not saying specifically launch window, or at least launch maybe window, meaning within a few months of the console, or 2021. Depending on if these consoles even come out this year with everything going on. We'll see. So far, from what both Sony and Microsoft are saying, everything is still on schedule. But then again, we know how that goes. So that's going to wrap up this episode of my Next Gen Console Countdown. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes where we go back into the tech and news side of things. We talked about the recently announced DualSense from the new PlayStation 5 controller. Check back previous episodes to get caught up before the next episode goes live. I do have a playlist going where you can watch all the previous episodes in a row. And I will be seeing you guys soon on the channel on the next episode of Next Gen Console Countdown. Until then, take care, everybody.